Welcome to Cold Pod episode 1. Today I'm going to be taking you on a fishing trip with me. I'm not too sure if this is going to be the every single episode thing, or this is just going to be a one episode thing. Not too sure. But we'll see, I just thought that this was going to be a pretty good first game to do this to. And it's bloody beautiful, so why not, right? Get into my spot over here. But yeah, welcome to Cold Pod episode 1. I hope you enjoy your stay. This is going to be completely unedited. Very low effort. We already have our first cast and our first catch, I think. Let's see if I can get this one. I'm trying my best. Putting up a fight, though. Look at that. Pound trout. Keep that bad boy. But yeah, this is probably the first ever podcast you've heard me in. If you have not heard me in Mackenzie and John's Oh That Reminds Me, much better podcast than this is going to be, but I would go check out that episode. I'll leave it in the description. And most of the people that probably did not want to see this content have already left. So, anybody who's still around, what's up? Welcome in, guys. How have you guys been? You guys been okay? Everything been alright? I talked about it a little bit in the description of my latest video of me streaming for 20 hours straight. The 4-hour edited down one. And being away from streaming has definitely been interesting, to say the least. Because my life kind of revolved around streaming for quite a long while. Probably close to 3-ish years of most of my time being for streaming and stuff like that, so it's definitely been an interesting change. Any other content creators probably know what I'm talking about when you kind of take a unannounced leave and stuff like that, but I have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it for the reason of having time for myself again, because I think for a long time I didn't really have that much time to myself. This is a big one, by the way. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't really have that much time to myself. Most of my time was spent setting up for stream, and when I did stream, it was for quite long hours. And I'm not going to turn into Hassan here and say that streaming is harder than any job. But I've had a couple jobs in my life. You guys never knew. I feel like one of the things people always talk about when they don't know what to talk about is jobs, but my first ever job, let me just get this catch real quick. Don't want to lose him. Oh, I'm gonna just snap my line. We're good. Damn. 2.5 pound rainbow trout. I'll take it. Thought my game just crashed, thank God. My first ever job, though, was snow shoveling in the winters. It was alright. Not the best job in the world, but definitely not the worst. It was kind of more... It was a lot of alone time, since my boss kind of just told me to go, because it was at a senior citizen home, so I had to shovel off like a lot of the sidewalks and stairways and stuff like that for the elderly population to be able to, you know, go about their days and stuff like that. So I kind of liked that part of it because I was kind of doing like a service, but wasn't the worst. I forget what I got paid, to be honest. I think it was just minimum wage, or I think it was like 16 bucks an hour or something. Nothing crazy though. My second job was, I think, Duncan's. I think it was Duncan's, my second job. It kind of turned in from the snow in the winter, and then I kind of went into summertime landscaper. So I kind of see that it's two different jobs, because it kind of was two different jobs. But not really, though. Yeah, but after that, I went into Duncan's, and I'm guessing a lot of you listening to this has probably worked in some type of fast food store. I feel like that's probably the most common job of all. And again, it had its pros and cons, but I think overall Duncan's was probably my favorite job I've had because I was it was probably the one I was the most like I was good at it. And I enjoyed being good at it. I think that's kind of just a goal for life is to find something you enjoy, right? And for a long time it was streaming. And I do think that if I did stream again, I think I would enjoy it. I really do think I would. It's mostly that social aspect that is keeping me away from it at the moment. Within the last 2-ish years, I think I really have figured out myself in terms of my social ability and my social battery standards and needs and wants and stuff like that. Because I think it's important to be able to detect when you're pushing yourself to talk to people when you necessarily kind of just want to relax, you know? But yeah, over this past year, I definitely have kind of found out what I usually like in a day-to-day life in terms of socializing and stuff like that. Because don't get me wrong, I loved when I was streaming and, you know, all you guys would pop in and I'd say, yo, what's up? How you doing? We chit chat, talk about your days, talk about my day. It was fucking fun, man. It was my social hour for the day. Like after stream, I basically didn't say anything, guys. I really only talked during stream. And there was days that where I looked forward to it, and there was days where I didn't look forward to it, and then I actually got into it and I started enjoying it again. I do think a big part of it is that at the time that I was streaming a lot, I don't think I had the facilities to be able to change up my content the way I envisioned it or I saw other people doing it. Not saying that I didn't enjoy Minecraft for 3,000 hours, you know, but for however many hours I stream Minecraft. It's a big one. I will just snap my line. But yeah. Finding myself, and because I think I have done a lot of maturing in this past little bit of life, just in general. Yeah, I think I really have. Just with everything when it comes to relationships, my own understanding of myself, the understanding of how I present myself to other people as well. I think I've really matured with that. And I'm not just saying this to stroke my own ego and say, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I'm just trying to, this is all off the top of my head with just what's going on in my mind. I'm going to use the transition that they use because it's really the only podcast that I listen to now. Oh, that reminds me. I've been journaling recently, and I've genuinely found a lot of joy in it. And I never thought I would because I never was one for listening to my own emotions because I just thought that it would never really help me. Because when I had a therapist, I would tell him my emotions, and I don't think that really helped me. But I do think because I think it's trial and error until you really find out what works for you, right? I think for me, what works is writing out my stream of consciousness until I'm happy with the amount that I've logged out, that I've logged in and tracked down with my thoughts and stuff like that. And I really have enjoyed it. I have a water tracker. I have a day mood tracker. So I have like a color for a bad day and a color for a good day and a color for a, normal, average, midday. It's something that I never thought I would enjoy, but it's something that I've, in recent time, really found out that I do enjoy it. And I kind of knocked it when I first heard of it, but I really would suggest it, guys, if you never really have. I really, truly would. I think this is a small one. Yeah, I literally just threw it onto the shore, I think. Yeah. I've kind of got my health back in check in recent times. Just with everything when it comes to the mental side of things, journaling has really helped with that. The physical side with what I've been eating and how I treat my sleep schedule. When I wake up, how I treat myself before I go to bed, with the screen and trying to distance myself a little bit with social media and stuff like that because it really is draining being on there. I think all of us know that, and all of us has heard of that so many times in recent years because social media has just gotten so large and societal standards with just attention grabbing thumbnails and content everywhere and people just trying to get your attention for their own benefit, people working on the content in order to gain your attention, I should say, with the intention to gain your attention. Intention to gain your attention. That is a statement and a half. But with my most recent video, I really did find some joy in having a place to just be my creative outlet for a while because streaming was my creative outlet for a long while. Just with everything, with the conversations that we had and the way that I set up my streams, the way I set up the Discord and other platforms. Take a sip of water real quick. We got a bite. Can't tell if this is a big one. I don't think it is. Excuse me. The bluegill. Of course, the day that I decide to... I'm going to release this guy. Of course, the day that I decide to do this, my throat feels like scratchy. But hey, it is what it is, right? I think excuses in the long term only is a detriment to you when it comes to just how you present yourself throughout the days. Because if I did let a little bit of a scratchy throat get in the way of me recording this right now, I might have never recorded it, you know? And I think you can use that analogy for a lot of things in life. If you were supposed to go on a run and you're all cozy and relaxing in your bed and you just don't really want to get up, you let those thoughts kind of take over and you settle for your body telling you what to do. You kind of, it's hard to get out of that rut, you know? It really is, because I've fallen into that rut many a times and I don't really want to get back into it. I think a lot of people know that there's a specific portion of decisions that can be made that will lead them to the same rut that they found themselves in a previous moment in their life. And I think part of life is trying to never get into that rut again. Even if that it's a very bare statement and not really explained well. But I hope you get what I'm saying when I say that. I think you gotta tell your own mind what you want to do. Not let your mind tell you what you want to do. Because I think deep down, he's kind of cheap. I'll keep him. Or I'll let him go, I mean. I always let go the little ones because just more profit to keep the bigger ones. But who cares about money, right? It's all fake anyways, in the grand scheme of things. I don't know where I saw it or where I heard it, but I think overall in life, memories is the greatest currency one can hoard and keep forever, you know? Because of course you can make memories with money, but you can't really make memories with only chasing money. Well, I guess some people can, but at least I can't. I've found at least I can't. At least I think I have. I'm only 20. So I think I feel like I'm trying to figure out what I know. And I'm trying to test myself to see what I know. What I can actually join in on conversations with, because I think there is merit with limiting your conversational how can I put this? I think there's good in limiting the amount of conversations that you let yourself get into. Either that be by yourself or I think I should say whether that be by yourself, like just talking to yourself, or talking to yourself and like recording it, or talking to other people and trying to put your say into the conversation. Because for the most part, a lot of us kind of have a specialized set of interests and hobbies and what we like to learn. So I think I found that it's more beneficial for me to let other people talk about conversations that I personally have no interest in, rather than trying to put myself into that conversation. And I don't know if I said that well or not, but I do think it's important for yourself to join in on conversations here and there. Because I think it's really easy to lock yourself in and kind of distance yourself from everybody. And I think it's so easy to do that because it's so easy to do the opposite of talking to everybody. In the terms of how easy it is to You know, find one Twitch chat to talk in, or have a Discord to talk in, or Snapchat or Instagram, or all these different places where people are talking. Super easy to join in on it. In the grand scheme of things, at least. Of course, social anxiety is a thing that basically everybody deals with. I think I've dealt with it all my life. Oh my god, that was so loud. I'm so sorry. But, I think I have dealt with social anxiety my whole life, and I think that ties into the conversation we had at first with finding out your own social habits better than you knew them when you were 15 or 16, you know? So I think it's important to keep working on yourself as you grow up. If you let yourself kind of get this idea in your head that you figured it all out, I don't think you can grow anymore. As a person and just in life in general. You gotta always be trying to learn new stuff, guys, really. Whether that just be a 10-minute YouTube video about some random shit that you never really heard of, you know? Or like you even go the complete opposite way and just learn one lineup in a video game or one technique in a video game that you really like. Learn a new chord riff on a guitar that you never really learned before. I think it's really important. I'm trying to get better at it myself with managing my energy to further my hobbies and stuff like that. It's weird trying to think of all the hobbies you have because I think for the most part you can name off a couple, but you're always going to kind of forget one or two until it brings it back up into your mind again of what you really like. Because I think we're just such complex beings that we say we're really one-dimensional, but in reality, I think everybody is a lot more than what they let off. Because obviously, in normal conversation, sometimes it's not the best to bring up a super niche obsession of yours with, like, I don't know why this came to mind, but StarCraft. Like, if you're really into StarCraft and everybody else isn't, then what's the point in talking about StarCraft, you know? If nobody else gets it. I haven't played StarCraft in years, but just what came to mind. I think it is important for you to step out of your shell. Just with everything in life. When it comes to your job and friends and interests and hobbies. I think that's on the same note as keeping to yourself in your room or just socially. It's really easy to stay in that shell. And sometimes it's comfy in that shell and sometimes it feels like prison. Oh shit. Stepping out of your shell and finding that new way to occupy your day to make it enjoyable for you and not feel like every day is the same is probably one of the most important and probably one of the most difficult skills to learn in general. I think a lot of people talk a lot about trying to further yourself in specific areas. But I don't think a lot of people talk about trying to further yourself mentally with yourself. Letting yourself think about your own emotions and intentions and your own experiences and what you've learned from them and stuff. Now, like I've said, of course, I'm only 20, and I have a lot more time on this earth to figure out what I really like and what I really want to do. But sometimes it is overwhelming with where you want to go in life, right? I think for the most part, even if you don't let it off, everybody's a little scared of what they're going to do, you know? Because of course you can pick one path and change it down the road with how life is nowadays. Because back in the day when we were like smaller societies, we can really only pick like one thing to do. Like if your father was a smith, you're probably gonna end up being a smith, carrying on the legacy, you know. But now you can you really can kind of pick what you want to do. And I think I know that because of my experiences with my jobs, the jobs that I've had, and my experience with streaming. Because I never thought I would get to where I was. And I think that kind of did show me that you really can do what you set out to do. You really just have to, you gotta believe in yourself, you really do. I think it's only a negative emotion to not have hope in the future. Because if you don't have hope hope for the future, then how good can the future really be? Can the future be as good as the present? I really don't know. I've had this reoccurring phrase in my journal entries since I've started them, with there being them be like concepts being unknown answers. Been a reoccurring thing that I've been writing down a lot, of where I ask myself in my own stream of consciousness a question, and I kind of have to write down another unknown to add to the list. And that list is getting pretty long. And I think with time it will get longer, but I think with enough work and enough, you know, dedication to furthering your mind, you can really figure out all those unknowns. And that list can get shorter and shorter with your unknowns. You can have more knowns, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Have more things you know about. Do you find enjoyment in talking about things that you enjoy? Probably, right? Wouldn't it be fun to have more enjoyment out of more things that you can reasonably talk about any aspect of with anybody, you know? I really don't know if I'm making any sense. And I really don't know if I'm even gonna use this. This was kind of an idea that I had in the back of my head for a while. Even before Mackenzie made her podcast. I know I'm probably gonna get a couple people saying that I copied her, and you can say that I copied Mackenzie all you want. I copied her with a lot of things. Just with everything. Content-wise and my own mental understanding of myself. I've even copied some of the things that she tries to do. Because I think people are different, and people have different strengths in different areas. Some people grew up with better mentalities than others, and whether that be because of the environment you grew in or the parents that you have, the people that you hung around with. Got a lot of trouts here. With the people that you surround yourself with, you have to always keep in mind that you're constantly, without even trying to, taking advice from them if you genuinely do respect them and find them as a genuine acquaintance or a friend. And you gotta be careful about that. even if you don't want to be. Gotta be careful who you listen to, guys. I wouldn't take a single thing of what I say right now, to be honest with you. And I think most people don't unless... I think most people would say that unless they're older, you know? Because a lot of people don't have confidence in their own understanding of life, I guess, is a way to put it. And I think with turning 20, even though it's just a number, because in the grand scheme of things, guys, you got to remember, I think it's important to remember that, you know, we're not just aging. We're literally every day choosing on what we're going to do with our life. You know what I mean? Like, sure, yes, we are rotating around the sun more and more times, but when you let yourself dwell on those concepts for too long, I think you lose sight of the bigger picture, just for the most part in general, unless you just have really good awareness skills and stuff like that, which I'm trying to develop myself. I think is important to remember that, you know, we are one planet out of billions and billions and billions and billions of stars. And we track our time by the amount of time that it takes to rotate around this bigger said star. Like, it's really fascinating to know, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, sometimes you gotta prioritize actuality over concepts. I don't know how else to put that other than saying, like, you gotta prioritize your day-to-day life rather than, okay, this week I'm gonna do this. And maybe that's because I have really bad scheduling habits, which I do. I think a lot of people do. And I think journaling has helped me with that. But I think it's really important to take every day by day. Every day by day? I think it's really important to take every day by itself. And really lock in, as the kids say nowadays. God, that's birds annoying. I think if you don't really keep that on the front of your mind that you got to tackle each day by itself, then I think you can kind of get lost in over planning and underachieving. Because I think, if you know what I mean, at least, because if you think about what you want to do more than you do it, then how are you ever going to do it? I don't know if that even makes sense, man. This has gotten much more deeper than I thought it was going to, I'm not going to lie. But I think I've had a lot of deep thoughts recently, so it's kind of nice to get this off my chest, you know? And maybe some people agree with me, some people don't. I'm not really trying to make statements that I think everybody will agree with. I'm kind of having a monologue to myself. I don't even know if monologue is the correct term. That's something that I've been thinking about recently. I want to improve my vocabulary. Because I feel like I was like comparing my own vocabulary to what I've heard and what I've saw with previous generations, and I just feel like my generation in general not really been one to care about how they present themselves with talking. Because of course a lot of people do, and a lot of people probably do it in private, but I personally never really focused on it in life and in school and anything. I kind of just always said what I was going to say without really thinking about it, and I think I kind of want to start thinking about it. I know that might be a scary thought for some, and it might be a less scary thought, but you think that that's gonna be more work, but I think it's important because I think how you present your own language is kind of what you are. It's how you're gonna be perceived, man. Because I have no face cam on right now, so all you have is my voice to go off of how I present myself, you know? I don't know, that's been something that's been on my mind. My own vernacular has been lacking, I think. I've also been trying to keep out filler words from my speech, even though I think I have done. I'm probably going to watch this back and see a couple filler words that I've kept in my language. But I think everybody has filler words. I think it's unfair to yourself to let yourself not have any filler words. I think that's like pushing David Goggins level of stay hard, you know? I think there's times for that mentality, and I think there's times for letting yourself relax. There's a balance, right? I think we can all agree on that. It's a balance of keeping yourself accountable to your own goals and making sure that you keep yourself stable. Just trying to keep the boat stable as you drift through life. It's hard, but you gotta do it, man. You really do. And I guess that concept of keeping the boat stable and keeping your life stable, and that could be overwhelming, but sometimes, well, not sometimes, I think for me personally, that kind of calms me down. That kind of recenters my values and my wants on the current day, you know? Making sure me, myself, that I'm okay and I'm feeling okay and I'm ready to, making sure that I myself is ready to set out on whatever journey I want to set out on, you know? Whether that be trying to learn how to do art or trying music or getting a real estate license, you know, it's really anything, guys. You gotta make sure yourself is stable, just in life in general and mentally. Because if you're not stable, like you yourself, how's your life gonna be stable? You can't just pretend like it is, guys. I feel like that's kind of how breakdowns happen, you know? I really do think that's how a breakdown happens. And of course, breakdowns are fine and breakdowns are okay. I'm not trying to say that at all. Everybody has breakdowns, man. But I think you can always try and get to that point in life where you're stable and you're happy. And I think trying to keep that mentality of staying stable and happy is probably going to result in you being happy, man. Because you're constantly trying to seek out that thing that will make you happy, or trying to work on that thing that is not making you happy to then make you happy. Happiness is a interesting concept. When I was younger, I always thought that happiness was what was only around you. But I think happiness is what's inside of you and what's around you. Now, obviously, that's a very broad statement and basically means nothing on the surface, but I don't know, let's get into it. So, if you yourself are not deep down happy and the environment that you're in doesn't make you happy, then I think you can kind of choose on which one you want to work on. Because obviously there's times where you can't change the environment you're in, and that sucks. You know? I think we've all been in that environment. No matter what position we are in, I think we're all going through pretty much the same shit, guys, you know? And I think that really does track, no matter how much money you have, or how many friends you have, or how many hobbies or interests, or how much motivation you have. Finding that stability in your life to make yourself happy is probably one of the greatest overall life gifts that we've been given in general, because without that desire, then what is there to do? Chill? You're not gonna get anywhere, really, man, with just chilling. Now, obviously, that's coming from a guy who hasn't streamed in 5 months, but trying my best here, you know. That's all we really can do, right? Try our best. I think I did try my best in my recent video, but I think I did let myself get lazy with the middle, because I really do think that my recent video, I think I genuinely was happy with how the beginning started. But I wasn't really happy with how the middle part's at. I think I should have spent more time on it. I really do think I should have, because I think with actual chapters and actual graphics and more polish on those middle segments, I think it would have been just better. But I think I'm saying that because I'm comparing myself to other YouTubers that I've watched in the past. I think I'm holding myself to too high of a standard. Well, I don't know, actually. Am I holding myself to too high of a standard because of the things that I've saw, or am I just trying to become better? I really don't know. I'm being honest, I really don't know. Because I do think that, well, that went nowhere. I do think with the level of editing that I'm getting to, I think I'm happy with how my video turned out, but there's always more, right? Another concept of life, there's always more. Always more you could have done. I do think I would have been happier with how the video turned out if I did spend more time on the middle. Even though I did spend a large portion of that time working on just cutting down the clips and stuff like that, I think more polish around that would have just elevated it to that next level, you know? And I'm not trying to say I want my content to be on a certain level, but I think I'm just trying to say that I want it to be at a spot where I'm happy with it. And I'm happy with the content that I'm putting out, and I'm happy with what I've been trying to do, you know? It definitely was interesting looking back on it and seeing that I made that World of Warcraft video when I was 9, man. Just kind of insane to think about that. I made it when I was 9 years old. And hopefully, you know, YouTube doesn't hear that, because I think I'm going to go bye-bye my channel, but it is what it is, man. I've kept it up there for long enough. If it gets taken down, it gets taken down. But isn't Ryan's toy reviews kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I actually really do not even know the rules on how old you have to be to make a YouTube video. But I know I probably was too young there. Probably was too young there, man. I have this whole Terraria Let's Play series that is all privated. When I think I was like 14 or 15. Since I think I talked about some pretty serious stuff at the time, at least in certain segments and stuff like that of the videos. So I think I privated those, or I kept them unlisted or something. But if you guys want me to go through those and see what I can do and make them public again, then let me know. I'm really curious too with what you guys want from this channel. What do you guys want from my content? What are you guys looking for, you know? Are you guys really not looking for anything and you're kind of just, you know, you're happy with anything? Or do you guys really want a specific type of content? Do you guys want me to play different games? Do you guys want me to really just try and step out of my shell as much as possible and try and go for everything I want? Or would you guys kind of want congruity throughout the content and kind of just try and further my understanding of my understanding and my, like, I was about to say my skill level. It's a weird way to put it. My brain's like mush today. It's one of those days we were kind of just, I wouldn't say head empty, but I feel like the board in... Hold on. What's that movie? Trying to remember. With the really smart janitor that writes on the board the math equation and solves it. I feel like I'm the board. Like, I didn't really do anything. But there's stuff there. How far can I cast? Really? Whoa. I have never cast it like that before. Sorry. That caught me off guard. Is it Big Will Hunting? Is that what the movie is? I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, at least. Hopefully I've made any amount of sense possible in this. Because I do want to make, like, actual brain-prodding content. I really do. I've found a lot of excitement and joy in seeing the uprising of long-form media and new ideas being used in video content when it comes to video essays and stuff like that. I think video essays are some of the most innovative pieces of media that we've ever seen. Because these people are making basically movies by themselves for super specific niche topics that otherwise people really wouldn't have any education on, you know? I couldn't tell you the amount of video essays I've seen about Dark Souls or anything video game related, really. That's kind of the main one that I find interesting. But I find a lot of stuff interesting. And I think that's good. I think I'm really happy that I find a lot of stuff interesting, because I think if you kind of let yourself get into that headspace where you're kind of not really finding anything interesting, I think it's really hard to get out of it, and I think it's just less enjoyable in life if you're not really enjoying anything you're seeing. And whether that be, you know, a hockey game that's on, or a football game, or playing the piano or eating a bowl of cereal. Just find something that you're interested in, even if it's only a little bit. So just a good place to start in general, because you can go down that road and you can always choose another road, man. You can always choose another road. And I think that's hard. That was hard for me to grasp when I was younger. Because I do think that there's a lot of pressure put on the younger population when it comes to what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to make, you know? I really do think that having that positive mindset is going to set you apart from others. Because a lot of people let themselves get caught up in having a bad day or having a bad mood. And obviously, guys, there's times where you can let yourself have that bad mood or have that bad day, and you can take out that, you know, tub of ice cream or anything that you like to indulge in when you're not feeling the best, you know? Everybody has their vices. But there's times where you gotta let yourself simmer. You gotta let yourself be close to the fire, because if you're not close to the fire, then you're gonna stay that same person. You're gonna stay that same being, same mindset, same experiences, you know? I think my fishing bag's almost filled up here. I think we only got room for one more big one. I got a lot of the ideas for my new video off of other videos that I've seen, and the biggest one being Summoning Salt. I really do think that Summoning Salt's content, when it comes to the video game essay format, is, I would probably say, revolutionary. Because he's making higher quality content than some of these, like, studios, guys. He really is. And I think anybody can, man. I think anybody can. And I think a majority of the people watching this probably have wanted to make content in their life, or probably have tried, or probably currently are. I think it's bigger than it ever has been. Because I came in on the wave. Well, like I've said, I've been making videos since I was 9, but for streaming at least, I came in on that wave of people being bored during quarantine, and that was like the perfect setter for me. And oh my god, what an interesting time that was, huh? I know that's probably one of the biggest conversations that we've had in recent times, in recent years, since the lockdown, but holy shit, man. What a weird time. You know what I mean? What a weird point in our lives. That's not over, of course, but it's necessary. It's, you know, much better than it was, at least. For me, that period of my life was, I definitely think, the start of myself distancing myself from, I guess, I don't know, I don't even know how to put it. Having large scale social events every single day as the main focus, I guess. Because I guess streaming for me was kind of the first ever time that I, except my jobs at least, you know, first ever time I tried to do something for myself by myself. I think for the most part, at least, except, you know, I think maybe running was one of them, but even though it's impossible to find that perfect space and perfect pocket to wedge yourself in on a certain topic or conversation or interest or, specific portion of life. Sometimes it kind of just happens, guys. And I do think it's probably a skill to be able to know when it is happening. I don't think I have that skill yet, but I think with time I will. I think I will gain that skill. I'm not saying you have to act on those times of possible growth and those times of, how can I put this? Visible positive change for yourself, I guess. It's visibly gonna be a better experience for you to pursue this than let it go. I feel like I've just been saying one-liners this entire time. But I hope overall it makes sense and helps. Or not even helps. Hopefully just at least one person resonates with it, you know? I guess we can go on this. When I was younger, one of my biggest things was fishing. 'Cause I always used to go fishing with my uncle when I was younger. Up in New Hampshire. And we would take the fishing rods and walk down to a lake. We would go around the yard and find worms under rocks and put them in a bucket or a bag, and we can catch a couple pickerel, a couple sunfish, and call it a day. And that was probably one of the first overall interests that I gained when I was younger. And I think that also led me to riding a lot of bikes when I was younger, because in New Hampshire, of course, I was too young to drive a car, so I rode my bike everywhere. I'm happy that I messed around with a lot of sports too when I was younger, because the only ever teams that I was on the basketball team in 6th grade, and then or 7th grade, I honestly forget at this point, and I was on the cross country and the track team. And before that, I kind of messed around with football and soccer and baseball. Kind of all of them, except golf. I never really got into golf. Trying to think of other sports. Hockey, I never really was into. Or at least I can never really do it. I really do. I find ice skating enjoyable, though. Do you guys have a specific action or a specific event that you can do every now and again that's gonna raise your morale and raise your spirits and just put you in an overall good mood? Because if you don't, you might have to step out of your shell, man. You might have to. I'm trying to think of what mine are, but I think for a long time it was streaming. I think it was running out of time. I think at a time it probably was skateboarding. I know, ha ha ha, skater boy, but I never really was really good, guys. You guys gotta remember that. I think a really interesting thing is the skill cap when it comes to skills in general in life. Because some people can be, overall pretty good. I think a lot of people can get to a point in skating where they can ride and they can do an ollie and stuff. But getting over that hump of kind of keeping all those difficult tricks away from yourself, and you can even do that with like art, you can draw a portrait, but can you draw a really good hand, and etc, etc, etc. The more deep you get into these interests, the more you're going to grow, and the more you can help other people grow around you, and it's just going to be a snowball effect of self-growth and your own little community growth with all your friends and all your buddies and stuff. I think soon I do want to hang out with more of my old friends that I used to hang out with a lot. But I think first I have to... I think a bad way to put it is that I have to. I think I want to get into a position where I'm on a track to succeed in some realm of life, whether that be even just mentally or physically, or, you know, getting a job or starting school. I want to become stable, because I think I am stable enough currently, but I think everybody can be more stable and everybody can have a better position in life in general. Finding more ways to occupy my day is probably going to be the way I'm going to do it, with scheduling my life to do certain stuff at certain moments and holding myself accountable for when I do them and when I don't do them. But like I said, guys, you gotta let yourself... You can't be too hard on yourself, because if you're too hard on yourself, you're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna be in your own head. I think it's good to be in your own head when it's a positive mindset and you're looking to improve yourself. But letting yourself just sitting there with really only bad thoughts is probably not going to be the best move, guys. Whether that's just overwhelming yourself with telling yourself that you have to do said example or said etc. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, if anybody made it this far. If you made it this far, put a fish emoji in the comments. And then you can prove that you did. You see that, guys? You see that awesome knowledge of getting you guys to interact with the video? God, I'm so good. I think a level of knowing your own self-worth is healthy, but I think over a certain level you become... Is it narcissistic? Is that the right word? Become full of yourself, I guess I'm trying to say. And I think if you are full of yourself, I think that is most likely going to only bring you in the direction you don't want to go in life. Whether that just comes to where you're going or the relationships you've gained in your time here, you know? Overall, man, just find a way to enjoy your time here. Just find a way. It can be anything, man. It really can be anything. And I know that's so cheesy for me to say, but it really can be anything. anything can make your time here enjoyable. Because you can see that with everybody, guys. From somebody who finds the absolute most enjoyment out of D&D sessions to somebody who only finds enjoyment out of making money from the stock market, you know? I think there's no better way to, I mean, obviously with time this probably will change my opinion with it, but I think there is no better way to go throughout this life than having that something that makes it fun and makes it enjoyable. And having something every day that you can work on to further yourself in that field. In that walk of life, I guess you could say. I think I'm making this episode 0. I think I said that in the video. Because kind of a test run, you know? It's testing how much I like making it and testing how much you like making, or how much you guys like listening, you know? So if you guys want more of this, I most likely will make more of it. I mean, it's not the hardest thing to make in the world, you know? I kind of just turned on my OBS and put up this game and just been sitting here speaking what's on my mind. It's kind of been like one of my journaling sessions, if I'm being honest. Let me know if you guys journal too. I'm curious how many of you guys, even just in your notes, write about your day or write about dreams you had or thought that came to your head. Or are you guys like memory inclined to be able to just remember that stuff? I definitely don't have the memory to remember that. I know that. I do want to work on my memory. I do, I really do. I think it's important. I think everybody does though, right? Small one, I think, to end it off. Yeah, a little small one. Well, I think that's going to be the end, guys. So I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you giving me an hour of your day. You know, I really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked at least one of the conversations we had during this. I couldn't even tell you one of them because I kind of just rambled. But I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys did too. And that concludes Cold Pod episode 0. I think, did I start off this episode with saying it was episode 0 or episode 1? I don't know. Shit. Well, I can't edit it out now. If I said episode 1 at the start of the podcast, just imagine just let me have that one. Let me have it and just imagine that it's episode 0, all right? It's okay. Not that big of a deal. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay and hope everyone's journey through this life is going the way they want it, man. I really do. So I'll see you guys soon, okay?